Hi everyone, welcome to YourPedia. This is Shubhya, your English mentor. So as we know that in our last video, we have started with the series where we will cover all the important topics of English for your ATC exam, right? And we have started with a very important topic of error spotting. In my last video, I have already discussed two of the important topics of it, subsections, nouns and the articles, and I've discussed all the rules related to it. So in case you have skipped that video, just go through that video because all the rules of all these like error spotting are going to be interrelated, right? So today in this video, I'm going to cover the next topic like in the subsection of spotting errors, and that is your adjectives, right? So what do you mean by adjectives? Let's start with a very basic discussion of what was adjective, what was the type of adjective, and then we will discuss the rules which you need to remember while spotting the errors of adjective, right? So what do you mean by adjectives? As we all know that adjective is something that modifies a noun or a pronoun. Something that modifies, tells us the quality, like Rita is a beautiful girl. So Rita is a girl, and what kind of a girl? She is beautiful. So it told us the manner of that noun, or you can say here mobile is a useful device. Mobile is there, and what kind of a device it is? Useful. It is telling us something about mobile, right? So the basic purpose of adjective is to modify, or you can say enhance the quality. It enhances the quality maybe of a noun or a pronoun, right? So in this you can see in the next, an adjective gives us more information about a noun or pronoun. Simply you can ask three questions from a sentence, and if your answer is justified, that means there is some kind of an adjective in that sentence. What, which, how many? Like what kind of car? Blue car. So it is telling us the color of the car. Long rope. What kind of rope it is? It is a very long rope. Small rope, short rope, long rope, hard rope, any kind of it. Person, tall person. House, a very big house. So whenever we are describing some kind of a quality of a noun or a pronoun, that is termed as an adjective. Repeat. Which one? So in this, that, these, last week, second week, whatsoever, the other woman. Here also we are able to understand some kind of a quality. So there is also an adjective. And you can say the number, that is form of an adjective only. 1 second, 3 boys, few cars, and several people. So whatever, just a repetition like what is an adjective? So something that provides us with some kind of an extra information, or something that modifies or enhances the quality of a noun or a pronoun. And you can ask such questions from a sentence, and if your answer is justified, that means the sentence is carrying some form of an adjective. Now you see in the next one, see, this is what kind of cat it is. It's a friendly cat. Which color of potatoes? That are red potatoes. What type of manner of coffee? That is what kind of coffee? Hot coffee, cold coffee. So all this gives us the quality, or you can say that is telling us something about these nouns. Clear? Next you have, obviously you need to know what are the types of adjective, right? So what are the types of adjective? We have different types of adjective, and I'm going to discuss each type in detail with you so that you are aware whenever a sentence carries some kind of adjective, so it is related to which category, right? Coming to this category, it can be proper, quantity based on quantity, demonstrative, interrogative based on the questions, quality telling us some kind of a kind of that, numeral telling us the number, distributive telling us some kind of the distribution of it, and possessive telling us that the possession of the adjective, that it is telling about some kind of a possession. Now the main part. Let's discuss each, right? First comes as the proper adjective. So what do you mean by proper adjective? Proper adjective is an adjective that is derived from the proper noun. So you remember the proper noun? Whatever tells us, you can say proper noun is some kind of a distinct one. So similarly, proper adjective would be related to the proper nouns only. I like Indian food so much. So Indian is your proper adjective. You won't be asked any kind of question, like you won't be asked like take the type of adjective or how many types of adjectives are there. This is actually for your general knowledge. Like if you are aware about the basics of the adjectives, then only it becomes very easy to understand the rules and then tick mark the answers, right? So go for the next one. You have the possessive adjective. What do you mean by possessive adjective? Which tells us, which show us some kind of possession of a person or a thing. Like suppose this is my pen, that is your mobile. So your, my pen, this teddy is mine, this room is mine. So some kind of a possession that shows, that is termed as a possessive adjective, right? Moving to the next, we have interrogative adjective. So interrogative, whenever the term comes, we mean that it is to denote some kind of a question mark. So interrogative adjective is the one that are used at the time of asking some type of question, and basically it will cover the category of all the WH words or H words like how, when, where, what, which. So all these come in the category of the interrogative adjectives, right? Let's move to the next one. We have the distributive adjectives. These are actually to refer each or every individually. Okay, so you can say each, every, either, neither. They come in the category of distributive adjectives. Each candidate has to fill his name and roll number in the answer sheet. Every student needs to do this thing. Each student should study hard. Each students need to be motivated. So when you are telling some kind of distribution is there, that is termed as a distributive adjective. Moving to the next, we have as a quantitative. The term clears, you will be told with some kind of a quantity, and quantity basically describes us like little, much, a lot of, enough. We will be discussing like what is the difference between a little, little, the little, few, a few, the few. Moving to the next and next slides. Let's discuss only the meanings of these terms, and we will discuss each and every part in detail in the further video, right? So near distributive is when you are telling about some kind of a distribution. Quantitative tells us to denote some kind of a quantity of a noun or a pronoun, right? So next you have is qualitative. Obviously the qualitative would describe us the quality of a thing, like she's a good girl, he's a bad boy, or you can say this is a good device, this is a bad device, this is very useful to me, the knife is very sharp. So every word which tells us some kind of a quality, we will term it as a qualitative adjective. Next you have the numeral adjective. Numeral words are used to express obviously the number. When we are describing or expressing some form of a number of a noun or a pronoun, like obviously many, some, five, first, few, enough, that comes as the same categorized in basically there are few friends. I have 5 Facebook friends. No, I have 100 Facebook friends and 5 friends in my real life, or the vice versa, and the situation goes on, right? So when you are denoting some kind of a number, that is termed as a numeral adjective. Clear? Next we have the adjective. So as mentioned, there are 3 degrees of comparison, right? So what are the 3 degrees? One is the positive degree, other is comparative degree, and the last one is your superlative degree. Okay, so what is the difference between these 3? I must tell you that many of your questions are going to be asked from these degrees of comparison, where you need to use the right degree in the sentence. So just remember it very carefully. Positive degree is used like, just I'm giving you an example. Rita. Okay, so she is Rita. Rita is a beautiful girl. Simply I am denoting a general quality of a person, and when I am mentioning some kind of a general quality of a person, of a place or a noun, that is termed as a positive degree. When I compared Rita with another girl, suppose this is Shalini with us. So Rita is compared to Shalini. Rita is more beautiful than Shalini, So here we will be using comparative degree. First we used was beautiful. Now we are using is more beautiful. And when we are comparing the quality of Rita, like Rita is the most beautiful girl, superlative degree is used when we are comparing with Rita amongst all the girls of her class. When the number increases from 2, like plus 2. So when the number gets increased from 2, superlative degree comes into usage. So when it is compared, it is called that Rita is the most beautiful girl in the class. Now obviously the class would have number of girls over here. So positive degree is used when the general quality of a noun or pronoun is described. We will be using positive degree. He's an intelligent boy. This is a very boring movie, right? Comparative degree is used when the qualities of two noun or pronouns are compared. What we will be using is comparative degree. Like Himanshu is taller than Mohit. Two persons come, comparative degree. Preeti is more beautiful than Shanli. And than is used after comparative degree objectives. Clear with these two? Next we have the important one, that is superlative degree. And when we compare the qualities of more than two nouns or pronouns and choose a noun with the least or highest degree of quality, we use as superlative degree. So obviously when the number increases plus 2, then we have the usage of the article. Even I mentioned in my last video that here the article the would be used before the superlative degree. Then Tina is the most intelligent student in the class. The is used, then the superlative degree of intelligent is used. Aristotle is the wisest philosopher. The is used, wise, wiser, wisest, and wisest is used. So definite article the is used before the superlative degree of adjectives, right? Now here you see Shweta is a beautiful, tall, thin, blue-eyed Indian girl. So it is just telling us general quality of Shweta. So that is why here positive degree is being used. She has a lovely old red hair band. General quality of the hair band she has, right? So here we are ending with the 3 degrees which we had as positive degree, comparative degree and the superlative degree. Positive degree, general qualities, comparative between two persons and places we are comparing, and superlative degree when we are comparing with more than 2, or you can say in the class, in the group or in the century like Aristotle was compared, and the article though would be used with the superlative degree, right? Now comes the main portion of this, you can say the entire slide, right? So there it is, the rules to remember while spotting errors of the adjective. So something that is very important and you need to remember these rules. First is like use positive degree as and so and as. Like whenever a sentence has got so, and you can say as, or when a sentence has got as and as. Here we will be using only the positive degree. No comparative or superlative degree would be used. How? See, here Raman is as cute as his sister. You will be thinking like we are comparing between two. So here the comparative degree will be used. No. Here simply positive degree is used. Why? Because we have as and as, or if a sentence has so and as, right? Our second rule is that use preposition to in place of then when the comparative degree, when the adjective ends with IOR. So whenever you have an adjective and it ends with IOR, like it is superior, IOR, junior, IOR, inferior, IOR, prior, any of this adjective, what you will be using is to with it. Mohit is junior to Sumit, right? He feels inferior to me. Whenever a sentence has an adjective ending with IOR, just go for to. Don't get confused with than. Than won't be used over here, okay? And this is very important. You will check many of the questions would have this, you can say, this portion is being covered, right? Next you have noun which are used as adjective cannot be plural. Suppose you have a noun like you have, here they are mentioning us that his eyes got injured in an accident. Now his eyes got injured. So his doctor advised him eyes injury. Now you will say eyes are the accompanied as, they are called as a noun. But here eyes is telling us what kind of surgery. And when here the eyes are used in the form of adjective, we cannot use it in the plural form. No, what we'll be using it in the form of singular, that is eye surgery would be right. Clear? So here we will simply say his eyes got injured in an accident, so his doctor advised him eye surgery. So whenever there is a noun that is used in the form of adjective, do not get confused, like you do not use plural form with it, you will use singular form. Clear with it? Now we have done 3 rules till here. पॉजिटिव डिग्री यूज होगी एज एन एज और सो एज है किसी सेंटेंस में. IOR के साथ कोई एडजेक्टिव अगर एंड हो रहा है तो व्हाट वी विल बी यूजिंग इज टू विद इट. एंड द थर्ड इज व्हेनेवर अ नाउन इज यूज्ड एज एन एडजेक्टिव दैट कैन नॉट बी प्लूरल, राइट? Some adjectives are used only in positive and superlative degree and they do not have their comparative degree. You know about the directions? We have 4 directions: north, south, east, west. Then when we are comparing or you have the directions के क्या क्या comparative degrees होते हैं, तो there are only 2 you can say the comparative degrees. One is the positive, another is the superlative. Like eastern and easternmost, southern and southernmost, top and topmost, right? There is no comparative degree based on the directions. Next is very important. Last year the questions were asked and even in my yesterday live class I've discussed this point, that whenever you have a sentence where prefer is written, preferable is written, you will just go for to. No than. Than is wrong over here and people do write than with prefer and preferable. This is wrong, right? If you have to use other than to, you will be using is rather than, okay? But than only is wrong. So here it will be my prefers, father prefers milk to tea, right? Books are more preferable to internet. Prefer was used, preferable was used, to is getting accompanied over here, right? Rather than can be used in place of to with the adjective prefer. Madan prefers to wear jackets rather than sweaters in winters. Clear now? So here these things are accompanied with one another. Just remember prefer and preferable, to and the rather than, no than would be used over here, right? Next you have the rule number 6. Some adjectives are used only in positive degree, not in comparative and the superlative degree. So they only have got their positive degree. Like you say the thing perfect, unique, फाइनल, एक्सेलेंट, तो मोर एक्सेलेंट मोस्ट एक्सेलेंट नहीं होता, मोर परफेक्ट मोस्ट परफेक्ट नहीं होता. तो सिंपल देयर आर सम वर्ड्स जिनके सिर्फ पॉजिटिव डिग्री एग्जिस्ट करती है और कोई भी कंपैरेटिव या सुपरलेटिव डिग्री नहीं होती है, राइट? सो हियर चीफ, कंप्लीट, इम्पॉसिबल, सुप्रीम, यूनिक, लास्ट, फाइनल, the list goes on and even you can note it down. Okay, do note down the rules side by side and when you will be doing the questions you will be simply checking. Okay, prefer आ गया है तो हमने to लगाना है, IOR आ गया है तो to लगाना है. डायरेक्शंस के तो क्या होते हैं, सिर्फ 2 ही डिग्रीज होते हैं, थर्ड डिग्री नहीं होती है कोई और, ठीक है? तो हेयर इट वुड बी कंपैरेटिव नहीं होती है, कुछ डिग्रीज हैं जो सिर्फ पॉजिटिव में होती हैं, कंपैरेटिव और सुपरलेटिव नहीं होती हैं. द नेक्स्ट कम्स इज व्हेन 2 डिफरेंट कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ अ नाउन और प्रोनाउन आर कंपेयर्ड, what you will be using is you use more plus positive degree in place of comparative degree. What does it mean is, suppose you are comparing a quality of a single person, like 2 qualities are there and you are comparing of the same person. This is Aristotle. He is wise also, he is intelligent also. It can be yours also, okay, when you are comparing 2 qualities of yourself. So what you will be using, you will be using more plus the positive degree, right? It won't be comparative degree. Just remember comparative नहीं होगा. Aristotle was more wise than intelligent. दो उसकी qualities हैं, wise है और intelligent है. But here more is used with wise. Positive degree है wise. Wiser नहीं use किया गया है, ठीक है? तो just remember this is very important. Double star it, okay? Compound or hyphenated adjectives cannot be plural. जो compound और hyphenated adjectives होंगे, they cannot be in the plural form. This was discussed already in our article section also. कि जब भी कोई compound में है, 200 रुपी नोट है, 200 की phrase आ जाती है, 5-year plan आता है. So these they carry the singular form, right? They cannot be used in the plural form. So here Rahman gave the bigger 200 rupee note. Rupees note नहीं होगा, या फिर आप ये भी नहीं बोलोगे 200 rupee R भी नहीं होगा, 200 rupee note is. These were discussed in our last, you can say, the video. So just note down those rules also. As I've told you, articles, nouns, adjectives, prepositions, जो rules I'll be discussing, these will be interrelated. So I want you to note it down. That would be very beneficial for you. Okay, then you have the next one. Two comparative and two superlative or two superlative degrees cannot be used together. कभी भी दो degrees हम इकट्ठी नहीं लगा सकते किसी भी sentence में. We cannot, right? So Shipra is the most prettiest girl in the school. This is wrong. The most is also used, prettiest is also used. No, you can only use one degree. It can be the comparative or superlative. So Shipra is the prettiest girl in the school. This is going to be the right one. Clear till now here? So here it was like when we are comparing two degrees, two traits of a same person, or you can say you are discussing the two traits of yourself, you will be using more plus the positive degree and not the comparative degree. The hyphenated, the compound, you can say the adjectives, they cannot be plural, and then two comparative and two superlative degrees cannot be used together in a single sentence, right? Don't worry, I'll be revising all the rules once again, and do note it down side by side. Now, next we have a very interesting topic, which are the confusing pairs of adjectives, right? So it has almost have a list of 5 different pairs, which I'll be discussing over here. Right now it is like first is your elder and eldest, older and oldest. What they are talking about is, suppose you can say you have blood relation and amongst your strangers. What is the difference is, if I say I have an elder sister, मेरी एक बड़ी बहन है, तो I will say elder, not the older. And if I have to compare that कोई बाहर से है, Rita is my friend, she is older to me. So when I'm comparing between the blood, in the blood relations, what you will be using is elder and eldest. And when you are using it with the strangers, with your friends, then you will be using older and oldest, right? So here, blood carries elder one and strangers carry the older one. Clear? So Rama is elder than her brother because the blood was there. Prema is older than her friends because here the friends or the strangers come into this category. Clear? Next we have a little, little and the little, right? So let's draw a glass of water. I'll explain you it in a better way. Now here what they're saying is, okay, just have a empty one. Okay, so here it is. Now what they're telling us about 3 different things, little, little and the little. So just remember is, when this glass has, you can say, some amount of water in it. So what you will call it, this is a little water. There is a little water in this glass. Now when the glass has water a little more, then also you will say it is positive only. So a little denotes something, something positive. When the glass is empty, it does not have water, so simply you will say that the glass has got little water. When the glass is empty, it is little. Little is used to denote something negative. A little is used to denote something positive. And the little is when I say the amount of water that was present in the glass, the little water that was present, I drank all. मैंने सारा का सारा पानी पी लिया जितना भी present था. So that is used, for that the little is used. Understood? A little is for something positive. The little is used for the whole amount which was present, and little is used for the negative, right? So here it is. There is a little milk in the pot. Now you can say there is little milk in the pot, so we cannot make tea. Now they cannot make a cup of tea. Why? Because they do not have, you can say, the milk. So there is little, negative, right? The little, not much, but all which are there. So all of the little denotes whatever we have, the whole quantity of it, that is denoted by the little, right? Now here it ends us to 2 different topics, 2 different confusing pairs. Let's move to the next pair, which is very interesting. Same way it would be followed, a few, few and the few. So it carries the same rules which we have used in a little, little and the little. What were there? A few used to denote something positive, few, negative, the few, whole amount. So if I say that there are 5 students in the class, so there are a few students in the class. If the class is empty, that means there are few students in the class. And if I say the amount of students present in the class was 5 was the number, they all are very intelligent. So I will say the few students present in the class are very intelligent. I am talking about the whole number now. Okay, similar way, a few is for some but not many. So there are a few pens in my bag, so you can have one. Now I'm giving someone a one pen. That means already I have 2 or 3 pens. I have 1 or 2 number of it, right? Few means almost none, obviously. So there are few pens in my bag, so I cannot give you any. The few is not many, but all they are. So you can have 1 or 2 pens from the few pens lying in my bag. So simply just remember through this, a few is something positive, few is negative, and the few is the whole amount. Clear? Next we have much, many. Okay, the 2 next terms. So here we will remember that much is used to denote, both are used to denote some kind of a quantity only. But here much is used to show the quantity with some kind of uncountable, you can say uncountable noun, and many is used to show number and plural countable nouns, right? So if I say I do not have much water in the bucket, like water, that comes as an uncountable one. So here much is used. And for books, like you can count it out, I do not have many books to read. So this comes as a countable noun, that is why we are using many with it. So much is used where we are using it for uncountable, and many is used where we are using it for some kind of countable noun. Next we have next and nearest, where next is used, where nearest is used. So next is used to show some kind of a position. Suppose some person is sitting near to you, like if I say, you sometimes get confused, like where next is used, where near will be used, right? So if I'm denoting some kind of a position, like Rita is just standing next to me, मेरे साथ, मेरे बगल में खड़ी है, तो it is next would be used, right, to show some kind of a position. Ritesh is sitting next to me. Nearest is used when you're mentioning some kind of distance. Then we use the term nearest. So nearest can be like Agra is nearest tourist place to Delhi. You're mentioning about the distance, then we will be using the nearest. Like if I say Mohali is nearest to Chandigarh, or Shimla is nearest to Chandigarh. So in this way I can say, mentioning about the distance, nearest is used. Mentioning about the position, next would be used. Clear with it? Next, I am telling you, I have covered already all the basic concepts of adjectives till now, right? And our next, you can say, the next session which I will be holding, there I would be covering the verbs, then you have the kinds of verbs, then we will have the 3 main types of verb, the rules, what to remember while spotting errors of verb in a sentence, and there are plenty of rules, sufficient enough to accompany, you can say, to solve any kind of question. Then I'll say each of, either of, neither of के साथ क्या use होता है, किस along with के time you have to see noun first or second, a number of किसके साथ follow होता है, the number of में क्या क्या plural noun आता है, singular noun आता है, where you used to accompany it as a singular form, where you used to accompany it as a plural form, and the list goes on. Like we have number of rules till now, okay, and I'll be discussing all of these with you in my next, you can say, whenever I'll be holding, I will be bringing best of the videos for you. So till now we have discussed 3 subsections of error spotting, nouns, articles, and today we did was about the whole topic of adjectives, right? So we started what was the meaning of adjective, what were the types of adjective, and then we summarized the rules, degree of comparison, and some kind of a confusing pairs of the adjective. I hope you have noted all the important points from it, and I wish you all the best. Just go on noting the points, then practice the questions. See, English is all about exceptions. So you will find number of exceptions as you did today. Just revise it. Prefer के साथ to था, ayer के साथ to था, कुछ hyphenated pairs है, plural नहीं होना या singular नहीं होना, कहाँ पे किस तरह की form आएगी, या फिर you can even categorize elder, eldest, a few, few, the few. So these are very important and tricky rules, and if you memorize these rules once, you will be able to solve the questions very well, right? Let's have a quick revision and then we will just end today's session. Okay, so where we started, let's see how much of you remember and how much you have noted. Just revise with me now. So I started with what is the meaning of adjective. So simply adjective was something that modifies the noun or a pronoun. then it gives us more of the information by answering the question what, which and how many. Then you have like here, friendly cat was there, friendly is an adjective, red potatoes, red. Then hot coffee, hot. So it is telling us some quality of a person, place or thing. Then we discussed about the types of adjectives. Here was the proper adjective that was quite derived from the proper nouns. Possessive adjectives telling us about the possession of a place or person. Interrogative adjectives, WH words, how, what, whose, when, where. So that was an interrogative adjective. Distributive adjectives refer to each or every noun individually, like each, either, neither, these list. Quantitative adjectives denoting the quantity of something, little, much, a lot of, enough. Qualitative telling us about the quality. Numeral telling us about the number, how many. Then we discussed about the three forms of comparison: positive degree, comparative degree, and the last was superlative degree. Positive degree telling us about the general quality, comparative degree telling us about the comparison between two nouns, superlative degree telling us about the qualities of more than two nouns, right? Then you have the next rules to remember while spotting errors of adjective, the major portion. So and as jahan pe laga ho, as and as, wherever it is used in a sentence, you will simply go for the positive degree and not for comparative degree. Whenever preposition to is used, use preposition to when an adjective ends with IOR, like superior, junior, inferior. Straight away go for to. Then you have when the nouns are used as adjectives, they cannot be plural, like it would be eye surgery and not the eyes surgery. Then we had that some adjectives are used only in positive and superlative, like the directions. They do not have the comparative degree. Then you have the adjectives prefer and preferable. Whenever these adjectives are used, go for to or rather than. Other than that, than won't be used. So simply whenever you see a word prefer or preferable in a sentence, go for to with it. Some adjectives are used only in positive degree and they do not have the comparative and the superlative degree. When two different characteristics of a noun or pronoun are compared, use when we are comparing the qualities of a same person, two traits of a same person, use more and the positive degree and not the comparative degree. Compound or hyphenated adjectives cannot be plural and two superlative and comparative degrees cannot be used together. Then you had some kind of confusing pair, elder, elder, then you had older, oldest. Elder was in blood relations, older for the strangers. A little, little and the little. A little denoting us some kind of a positive, little negative, and the little, the whole number. Same for a few, few and the few, positive, negative and the whole number. Then you have much and many, much for some kind of uncountable noun, many for the countable noun. Next telling us about the position and nearest telling us about some kind of, you can say, the distance. So in the next we will be going for the verbs. And then here I'm ending on all of you on this video with a very happy note. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture and I'll be having more of it. I'll be covering all the subsections of error spotting, and do memorize rules, do practice questions, do attend my live sessions so that we can prepare for this exam really well. Okay, thank you everyone. Take care. Have a nice day.